the breweries and the RTA.
It's a try! Tremendous piece of rugby league. Too big, too far. Look at him go!
Tonight on Friday Night Football, the prize is outright second place as the Raiders clash with Newcastle at Bruce Stadium.
The Raiders come back to the 30-metre line, setting up another play, and it's been beautifully rehearsed, and at the moment it's working like a machine, and Nakers gets it over the line.
On the back of an exhilarating attacking style, the Knights have emerged as the competition's leading point scorers.
Here's Matthew making the butt. Oh, Davis is on his inside. Halligan's missed it. Oh, get in the queue. Have a look at him. They got the hands up all over the park.
But with their big guns on deck, the reigning champions will be defending the best home record in the league.
Stewart cut out Furner. They go to Mullen. Now, there was Croker. Croker heads for the corner. Croker, he's in.
These teams have been beaten just once this season, and now something has to give.
They rolled it in behind them. Barnes is after it. There's a chance here. Barnes is in. Oh, that is miraculous stuff.
It's Canberra versus Newcastle tonight on Wide World of Sports.
In 1995, the Newcastle Knights have established themselves as true premiership contenders. They have had a comparatively easy draw, and in most people's mind, their status will be confirmed in a 5-week spell in the second round. That started last week against the Sydney Bulldogs, no problem there, but tonight they'll have their toughest test, taking on the reigning Winfield Cup premiers, the Canberra Raiders, here at Bruce Stadium. It is a freezing night in the national capital. Rain has been falling, in fact it's almost snow. That should favour the home side, much more used to running around in these kind of conditions. And Paul Vorton, how much an effect does that have, and can Newcastle reproduce that scintillating form of last week?
Peter, I don't think the conditions will worry Newcastle too much. They're here to win a game of football. Canberra are the side to beat, though. They're playing very good football. Only one loss this season, of course, to Manly. Newcastle in the best form of their 8-year career. Some great battles out there tonight, especially around the halves area. But the two centres who are playing, probably the form centres of the comp. Ruben Wiki for Canberra has been in great form. He's sort of running the football very strongly. He's a great defender, and he can find the try line. He's also in line, of course, for a New Zealand test jumper. He's been added to their squad and may find himself in the centres for the next test match against Australia. Of course, Jamie Ainscough, he's in great form as well. I think he's the best form of his career since coming from West and a couple of other clubs. And Ainscough scored 3 tries last week. He is red hot. That battle should be a beauty. Pete?
Yeah, tremendous forward clash as well. Which way are you going tonight?
If the game was at Newcastle, I'd tip them, but down here in Canberra, I think Canberra.
Yeah, I'll go the Raiders as well. No great margin between these sides. In fact, both teams will be there in the top 8 at the end of the season, so no earth-shattering problem with the loss tonight. Of course, a victory is important. It will set up a definite psychological advantage for later in the season. It'll also give an idea as to how both teams are travelling in their quest for the 95 title.
It's a big night here for Newcastle on top of that win against Canterbury last weekend. Can they keep it going? And some of their fans have braved the chilly conditions down in Canberra to follow the Newcastle Knights down here. Equal second with Canberra in the 1995 Winfield Cup. And here's their side for tonight, the Newcastle Knights. It's the same as last weekend, except Paul Marquette has pushed forward to the front row, and Adam Muir goes back to the second row. Malcolm Reilly is the coach of a very successful, probably the most successful Newcastle side since they entered the big league. Very cold here in Canberra. You need not to be told that. The Knights were out there about 20 minutes ago, limbering up, warming up, and the crowd tonight kept to a a basic minimum, really. These are the real rugby league fans, I've got to say that. Conditions somewhere down around freezing point, I guess. And there's been snow, there's been sleet, and the wind is blowing. But the stage is set for this combat between equal number 2 behind Manly, Canberra, and the Newcastle Knights. And now Ricky Stewart takes the Raiders out. Steve Walters, incidentally, is running out there for the 200th time in first grade, his 200th run-on game. So it's a big night for him. I thought he might have actually led the side out. The defending champions, and it's only in the last couple of weeks that maybe that crown has started to topple a little bit. Mullins, Nagus, Croker comes in, Wiki, Nandruku, Daly, Stewart, Pongia, Walters, DeVico, no Lomax, Wesley, Ferner, Clyde is back, Tim Sheen's the coach, Ruben Wiki, the number 4 in the centres, partnered tonight by Jason Croker, who wear jumper 27. Windy, slippery conditions will suit Ricky Stewart. But this is the real test for Newcastle, Steve Roach.
Yes, Malcolm really saying to his side, if they are going to be premiership contenders, this is the game that they've got to do well in for their confidence. As you said, slippery conditions, the biggest clashes and the biggest thing that Malcolm really doesn't want his team to do is turn over the football, because as we know, Canberra are the best absolute attacking side in the competition. Nice
new on-camera jacket too, Steve. You look very nice in it.
Mate, I'm lovely and warm, Ray. You'd be happy about that.
There he is, the big fella. The lovable Balmain, Australian prop forward on sideline duties tonight. Eddie Ward, you might lend him your jacket for a while, Steve, because he looks freezing.
Watch it, Ray. You just knocked the heater in the coffee. Sorry, Block.
Canberra starts what is the big one, the match of the round 14 of the Winfield Cup. Newcastle now, they bring it back on the first set of 6, 15 away from their own line. The ball played by Mark Glanville, and now their captain Harrigan charges outside the 20-metre line. He'll be looking for a big one, Harrigan, again tonight, as he was against Canterbury. And now Tracy's able to stand and offload for Robbie Davis, who's buckled over. Good strong tackling by the Canberra forwards in the first 3 tackles of the evening. McCormick away for Marquette when he knows he's been tackled. Daly was underneath. That was Wiki over the top. And now again Harrigan says, come on fellows, I'll show you the way, just follow. 5 tackles gone as Newcastle prepare to get it down the other end of the park. Not a good kick, and it is Nandruku who sends it across for his fullback Mullins. Mullins tries to get around them. Naga straightens it, but around his legs is the 11, Adam Muir, and that is the halfway line.
Just as well Muir was coming across in cover. It wasn't a good kick from Andrew Johns, but he did well to get a kick away at all. Bad pass from McCormick from dummy half, and then he got through and put all his chasers on side very quickly.
Eddie Ward taking Newcastle back a very deep 10 metres as Canberra now get their opportunity, their first of the night, to attack, and it's David Ferner, 40 metres out from the Newcastle line. Steve Walters takes it up now just beyond the 30, a gain of about 9 metres, good yards. Ferner a dummy half, and Stewart immediately, with the wind gusting around, the ball will already be slippery, and O'Davis, he exhibits that, and you saw him lose his footing into the bargain, and this is a line drop out.
Yeah, Robbie Davis couldn't take that one, but you can imagine how that was swirling around in the breeze as he limps back into position. He got there, but it just took a right angle at the last moment. He gets put in the in-goal area.
A very deliberate kick there from Ricky Stewart back across the ruck. O'Davis nearly ran into the upright on his way back, so Stewart looking to go to the posts. There was good chase there. Line drop out taken 35 metres out.
It's an ordinary line drop out too, so the first 2 kicks from Newcastle, the kick in general play and the line drop out, both ordinary. And here's Wiki now actually carrying players over the 20-metre line. Very strong performance early from Wiki. Here's DeVico. Was there a high shot? Harrigan came out of it second best. Canberra very close to the line, 3 metres out as they go left for Stewart to go back and across for Daly. And then out wide is Clyde, the run around for Daly. Barnes comes in, Daly looks to unload, but then succumbs to the tackle. 21 metres out from the line. Jason Croker at dummy half. And Clyde now now takes it up. McCormack capitalising on the tackle from Nathan Barnes, and Canberra get the first penalty.
And a silly penalty given away by the Knights. They'd done well. They'd hung on for 5 tackles. Nathan Barnes doing a good job to wrap up Laurie Daly out wide. As we've become accustomed to, Brad Clyde standing out in the back line, but a play the ball infringement, pushing the player back down. Laurie Daly here got a little bit of a problem up around the eye area. Nathan Barnes being spoken to. Daly not at all happy about that. The backline shot. There's the tackle, the ball and all tackle. Difficult to pick what happened. Well, just there, the hands in the face, and Daly reacted to it.
So 20 metres out from the Newcastle line, about 20 metres in from touch on the far side. Daly, it looked as though something, well, obviously there was a hand in the eye. Whether it was accidental is the question. Dr. Nagus comes across. Steve, the wind, is it behind Canberra? We're sitting up in the loftiness of the grandstand. Is it behind Canberra first half?
Yes, a big breeze behind Canberra, left to right.
Okay. So David Ferner now with 78 points this year. Strikes it. Looks good, doesn't it? Straight between the uprights. David Ferner might have the kicking boot on. Canberra 2, Newcastle 0, 4 minutes gone.
Good evening. There were claims in a Canberra court today that Chief Minister Kate Carnell has attempted to gag and intimidate local community groups to avoid political damage. The claims arose during a defamation case. Away from the courts, the Chief Minister was busy promoting her plan to dramatically cut hospital waiting lists and costs at a public seminar on case mix funding. The new financial year brings with it a string of increased prices and charges, setting the average family back an extra $600 a year. And the fight over control of Rugby League Park in Braddon has again degenerated to legal action, with the Leagues Club attempting to overturn a Supreme Court decision. The weather tomorrow, showers around, a chilly 8 degrees after a minimum tonight of 2, and the outlook for the next couple of days, cold and windy and wet. From the Win News team, good night.
The Snow Report.
Hello from Thredbo. Here am I enjoying another powder skiing day in the mountains. More advanced skiers laid fresh tracks all morning off the Bluff and Crackenback Super Trail. Intermediates enjoyed the top of High Noon and the variety of runs available at Merritt. And beginners, well, they headed to Friday Flat and had a ball. Get here early, don't miss out. This is Susie Rowland in Thredbo.
The Snow Report, brought to you by Thredbo.
If we don't take your photo before speed gets you in trouble, we'll have to after.
If you're travelling to the snow this weekend and you break the law, you'll be running a gauntlet of 45 police patrol cars equipped with speed cameras, radar and breath testing units. By sticking to the rules of the road, everyone will enjoy their trip to the snow. We don't want to pull you over, we just want to slow you down.
For a savings account with really high interest at 6% per annum, state what you want from a bank.
Holden Network Q dealers sell all kinds of quality used cars, so please consider what a feeling is to drive a Network Q used car. Lately,
I only want to be with Network Q.
Treating used cars like new.
The Bridgestone G-Grid is designed to grip. G-Grid's advanced rubber compound and aggressive tread pattern gives you superior handling and precise stopping.
Bridgestone, that's confidence.
This is possibly the most exquisite food ever created. For cats, New Dime Petite Gold. It's what your cat's been waiting for.
Welcome back now to Bruce Stadium in Canberra. Very much a winter's night, the last day of the financial year. And both these clubs looking to boost their finances with a passage through to the grand final. And the rich plumes at the end of all of that. And here they are, Canberra, the defending champions, out on the 30-metre line as Stewart goes away. Walters now, cross from David Furner, who gets through an enormous workload. He's a few metres away from the halfway line. Canberra 2, Newcastle nothing. A penalty goal by David Furner after 4 minutes, and this is a good kick, well directed, right back into the corner, and that's where they want to keep them. And Tony Herman is confronted by a good chase from Jason Croker, but it's a penalty. He's ruled them inside the 10, being in an offside position from the kick.
Well, that's a good decision there by the referee. They were dead set. Here's Stewart now. There's two of them are offside. Yeah, Croker and Clyde are offside, but the other man was onside. But still, you've got to penalise. If anyone's inside the 10, you've got to penalise them.
Newcastle, they get their penalty down their own end of the park. And Harrigan is out to the 10-metre line. Harrigan leading the hit-ups and leading them comfortably at this point. This is Marquette, a much smaller man, but wearing the number 8. His front row partner tonight. This man fell back into the second row, Adam Muir. But of course they mix it up and mix it around. There's a very good chance that Marquette played plenty of front row in that match last Sunday anyway, and it might have gone unnoticed as Andrew Johns tries to slither through. And interestingly, no markers there for Canberra as Andrew Johns works with his brother now, and he's almost able to get through the tackle of David Wesley. There's the 40-metre line as McCormick works onto the blind side. He keeps it low and he rolls it over the touchline. So this scrum will go down deep into Canberra territory.
Good momentum established there by the Newcastle side. Some quick play the balls. You saw that with the fact that the Raiders couldn't get men into marker, Out of dummy half came McCormack. Was going to run the football, but then decided the kick was the better option and picked up good ground.
He's a bit of an Iron Man, Robbie McCormick, as he packs into the front row. He's playing his 49th consecutive first-grade match with the Knights. So he's really some kind of a rugby league Superman. Rob McCormick, and don't forget he's mixed some representative games up in amongst that too. In the last few years, here's a clean break made by Canberra's Ken Nagus. He's put the ball down when the tackle was made.
Oh, great tackle by Robbie O'Davis. They're on the counter-attack now, Newcastle, but great bust there by Nagus. And O'Davis sized him up, grabbed him by the jumper and hauled him in.
Landville now tries to turn defence into attack. This was the break. It was made close to the play the ball. Harrigan missed him, and then O'Davis had to turn on the accelerator to catch him. Back with Newcastle. 5 metres into Canberra's area. 2-0. 7.5 minutes gone. Canberra leading the way. Muir. 38 metres out now from the Canberra line. And looking back at the man that tackled him, it was Ricky Stewart. Now Matthew Johns tries to put Darren Tracy through a gap. The ball goes loose. It's on offer. Now Eddie Ward gives a penalty. That's offside against the Knights. I thought that for a moment, but we were obscured, were we not?
Yes, the ball was dropped there. A little bit of a chance here opened up. Going back inside was Darren Tracy. This pass going astray off O'Davis. Touched by a Newcastle player there in Glanville. Popping into Tracy's hands, and he's offside.
Keeping in mind that this breeze is with Canberra for the first 40 metres. Newcastle, the first 40 minutes. Newcastle have been here 3 times without success at Bruce Stadium. They've played a total of 9 times, with Canberra holding the balance of power, 6-3. And that is the statistic from 1988 onwards. Twice as many times Canberra have been victorious as they go back and pick up the front row forward there. Luke DeVico, and again the penalty goes to Canberra. And Newcastle are giving penalties to Canberra in a very dangerous zone. Well within kicking distance again. This one is easier than the previous.
He's been a real find for Canberra this year, Luke DeVico. Another strong charge there. John Lomax, of course, out injured with a knee problem sustained in that first test. And the Newcastle side getting up much too quickly inside the 10. Pretty easy conversion for Furner to take his side to a 4-point lead.
Even early in the match, you can see the value of the Johns boys in this Newcastle side. Every time they've touched the ball, something has happened or nearly happened or about to happen. They're very exciting young players.
David Furner's not happy. 22 metres out. Pretty much in front. And judging by his first kick, this one, even though I'm probably putting the hex on him.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, you'd want to back him in on this one. Here he comes now from close proximity, and he pilots it between the uprights. So Canberra take advantage of 2 penalties early on, one at the 4th minute, one at the 9th minute, and they lead by 4 points to 0 over the Newcastle Knights, who've brought quite a band of supporters with them. People have come down from Newcastle in buses and aeroplanes, and they are to be congratulated.
And Newcastle were disappointed with this start. All they've done is handed virtually scot-free Canberra 4 points on the platter, and they've got some catching up to do.
Ball being played now by Wesley, about 15 metres out from his line, and this is DeVico, and he's out to the 20-metre line. DeVico in the top grade, in the number 10 jumper. John Lomax, of course, is out. And we'll also, of course, be out of that second test next Friday night, which will be telecasting for you. A return encounter between the Kiwis and the Kangaroos. As this ball bounces down to the 20-metre line for Robbo Davis. Talking of Australia, he'll be there next Friday night. And this diminutive Newcastle fullback, this crowd-pleasing fullback, is put away.
And a great chase there from both Jason Croker and Brad Clyde. There's Croker coming up with another tackle. Really good chase on the Stewart kick. They kicked a little bit early on the 4th. Chasers knew it was coming.
Paul Harrigan, his 100th first-grade game tonight. As they come back now and run an angle for Adam Muir to take it up the centre. 11 1/4 minutes gone, and Newcastle gets another penalty, but whereas they're getting penalties in their own territory, Canberra, in contrast, have had 2 shots from penalties at fairly easy range for David Furner. He's penalised the man that made the tackle, David Wesley, for prolonging that tackle. Now Andrew Johns finds the line. Second highest point scorer in the Winfield Cup is Andrew. Ainsko ran a decoy. Ainsko has yet to get a touch, but it hasn't been a game for the attacking men. And now they turn it over, and they're going to have to wait. Oops-a-daisy! No, Ward said no problem. Well, Andrew Johns and Robbie O'Davis were the 2 involved. 2 of the smallest men on the Newcastle side. 40 metres out from the line, and Quentin Pongia is met by McCormack and Harrigan.
Problem there for Steve Walters, who was hurt in the tackle on Paul Harrigan when the mistake was made. Mullins up the centre, finds Stewart.
Stewart away from Nandruku, dummies inside, kicks ahead, leads the race, but the ball, he rakes it in. But the ball did go into touch.
Oh, great play by the Raiders. There's a beautiful pass in here by Ricky Stewart. As soon as he got the pill, he just went whoosh and offloaded. A lovely pass in traffic, and Nandruku on the end of it nearly came up with a try.
He must have nearly been pushed a little early too. This is the tackle. Andrew Johns getting out of that one very quickly, and I think that's okay. Mullins, this is the pass that Paul's talking about. Drew, the winger. The dummy thrown by Nandruku was a good one. Let's see where he's pushed by O'Davis. He's nowhere near the football. No, in fact, O'Davis didn't touch him, so a good decision.
And now Newcastle with a let-off. Heavy breathing, though. A sigh of relief as they come away from their own 20-metre line through Darren Tracy.
Well, Newcastle doing exactly what Steve Roach told us Malcolm really didn't want them to do. They're turning over possession early in the tackle count, and Canberra have had all the ball. This will help. A penalty to Newcastle inside the 10 for the Raiders.
They actually penalised for 3 markers on that occasion. Only 2 players are allowed inside the 10 metres to compete in the play the ball. As Andrew Johns finds the line, let's take a sideline comment from Steve Roach.
Yeah, how unbelievable with Brad Clyde. He's been out for 4 weeks with a knee injury. First on the kick chase, and also first back to take the football up. Super athlete.
Now let's see if Newcastle can do something. This is their first real opportunity as Andrew Johns turns it inside for Muir. And Muir is attracting a lot of attention. Such is his talent. And now across from McCormack to Andrew Johns, and then Matthew, and then a decoy from Glanville. Tracy is with it. But the same cohesion is not there from Newcastle at the moment. Daly earned a pat on the back for a good tackle. Andrew Johns shows it and then goes out wide. Ainsko puts it down. Canberra comes up with clean ball.
There was a very strong tackle on Jamie Ainsko around the shoulder area. Clyde again lines up. Let's have a look at this tackle going wide. This time, Ainsley coming strong, and that's a sensational shot from Bradley Clyde. I don't know about the value of turning the ball back inside early in a game. It normally catches out lazy defence or tired defence, and early in a match, that's not as evident as later on. Newcastle aren't finding anything happening for them with the inside pass.
That tackle from Glanville on David Furner has seen the Canberra second rower come away with a problem to, I think, his right leg, knee or ankle. He's trying to get some feeling back in it. The trainer is with him as the fifth tackle comes up for the green machine. They go out for Stewart. He keeps it low, and it'll bounce down towards the line and the corner post. It's being shadowed by O'Davis, and then he ducked under Nandruku. It was real cat and mouse stuff. Now Glanville, who pulled off that tackle on David Furner that sees the second rower still getting attended to. And Newcastle, they bring it away with Ashley Gordon.
Give a big rap there to Robbie O'Davis. Managed to get the ball back into play and then stay in the field of play. Ricky Stewart's tackle nearly taking him into touch, and that would have been very, very bad for his side.
Furner's back in the defence line as they go over for Andrew Johns. And Jason Croker came up out of the line to make the tackle and herd him back in at the same time. 4-0, 15 3/4 minutes gone. Canberra in front. Andrew Johns' kick. Down inside the 20-metre line. Nandruku is back with it. Mullins is back with him. The defence is down the ground as Nandruku decides to take it away himself. He's wrapped up by Paul Marquette. That is the 30-metre line now, centre of the ground. Mullins uses Clyde, and Clyde is met by Ainsko and Matthew Johns. Still able to make ground, though, Bradley Clyde, and good ground. Pongia came up, and so did Harrigan. There was a groan from the crowd looking for a penalty for Canberra for a high shot. Played back to Ruben Wiki now, and they send David Furner ahead. David almost to the halfway line. He falls about 5 or 6 metres short. Across now for Stewart to go on, for Daly to kick. And he keeps it relatively low again, and Robbie Davis has had a busy night. He's already been in possession of the football on several occasions and under extreme pressure every time. Now Herman able to get away from Pongia and trying to step out of another tackle that refuses to let go from Steve Walters. McCormick now. A second man play, this time for Marquette, and the cross now for Ainsko. Ainsko staying in the field of play. That was his main purpose as Furner puts him away. McCormick goes off to the right. No room left on the left, that's for sure. And now it's with Glanville right on the halfway line. 4-0, Canberra in front, 17 gone. As Andrew Johns was able to get a good kick in this time. It may require Mullins to bring it back. It will. 1 metre from the line, and here's a good chase. Here's a good contest, and Mullins is put down. So line drop out. Is the rain, or is that, what is it anyway? It starts to come down.
Well, what a magnificent kick and chase here by Andrew Johns. He's the first man up there. O'Davis did well. They've got him covered, and Johns makes the tackle.
Very good vision from Andrew Johns, just seeing where Brett Mullins was in defence. He was over towards the posts. The winger on the left-hand side of the field was up. And there's a bit of space there. The Raiders taking their time to get things started here. In fact, we don't have a football at the moment.
Well, I don't know. What is it, Steve? Is that rain or sleet or snow? What is it? What variety?
I don't know what it is. Anyone got an igloo?
An igloo?
Yeah.
We don't have a big door.
Yeah, so the line dropout really... Oh, Adam Muir! I don't know that he'll ever do that again. It was a super line dropout. I was about to say, have a look at the strength of the wind. And Adam Muir dangles his hand out, makes a knock on it.
Dangled his hand not once but twice. The second one should have been able to clean up the initial stop, but they win the scrum, the Raiders. Croker takes on Barnes, who was caught offside. So another penalty at this end of the ground, looking for the quick restart. They'll be tempted to take the kick for goal.
Stewart opting to take the kick for goal. No,
well, they can't. It's a differential penalty. You can't.
No, well, he might have just told the referee he's kicking for touch and then motioned that, which is
I thought Eddie Ward was motioning towards the uprights. In fact, I think if you watched him closely, he was. But what he was doing was telling Newcastle to get back to 10. As Walters takes the tap, they come across now for Croker. And Croker slammed down and back by the front row forwards. Walters now for Stewart, and Stewart back for Wesley. And Wesley able to get away from the first 2 attempts. It was left to McCormack to pull him down. Now it's with DeVico. And again McCormack to the fore. He made a mile of tackles last Sunday. He's carried it on as Stewart runs himself. Rounded up by O'Davis and again by Harrigan. And they've got their foot flat on the floor, Newcastle, and they get a penalty.
Yes, in Ricky Stewart's effort to get up and play the ball quickly, he hasn't got to his feet and touched the football in playing. You'll see here, very clear in front of the referee. Doesn't get to his feet. Paul Harrigan's hand is on his back. Just need to take a little bit of time to get the execution right.
I don't know whether it's a look of anguish on Ricky Stewart or whether in fact he's just got a problem. I see one of the trainers going out to the Canberra captain for the penalties, but of course the interesting fact there is that Canberra's penalties have been within kicking distance, and that really matters.
And that is somewhat surprising that they didn't take the kick for goal. Oh, good shot there. Pongia knocked his head back, Paul Harrigan. I thought they'd have kicked from 30 out. The ball would have gone dead and it could have been a converted try lead. A show of confidence by the Raiders by taking the quick tap.
This is Adam Muir now and trying to play the ball, but the Canberra player Wesley, lying in the play the ball, has been penalised.
It really is becoming a problem area in the game of rugby league, isn't it? Just this around the rucks, and it's just a mess. One of them maybe a good kick for touch, just lost him 8 yards. But maybe referees have got to become sterner in this area and start sending players to the bin.
So certainly less than a happy start for Newcastle as the ball is played by Marquette, and McCormack scurries away from dummy half and takes Tracy with him. And now they're 42 metres out as McCormack calls for another penalty. They go over for Matthew Johns and on for Adam Muir. And Stewart is there with Daly. And they arrest this Newcastle second rower. Steve Walters coming in to make certain of it. And they're now about 35 metres out from the line as they go across, and Matthew Johns, he cleaned up his own mistake. But I'll tell you what, it was an ordinary pass.
Well, it has been an awful start for Newcastle, but the important thing in their mind will to be able to maintain contact with the Raiders. They can't go in at half-time trailing by a big margin. At the moment, 4 points isn't a major problem if they can get their act together. They can't allow the opposition to benefit all these mistakes that are being made.
Ricky was the man who played it, and now Clyde, and Harrigan pulls off a big tackle, but he unloads, and then Mullins puts it down. It'll be play on for the Knights, and Herman is with it. And he's put away by Croker and Steve Walters, who's covering a lot of territory in defence, and rakes the ball back for Canberra. He does it without infringing the rules, and played by Jason Croker now. Early in the tackle count, and here is a high shot, and a penalty goes to Canberra. It's against Darren Tracy.
Referee Ward calling him out. They're all inside the 10, the Newcastle boys. Harrigan's going over to make sure everything's all right. But he's laying down the law there, but he got him right around the neck.
Paul Harrigan was the chief offender in being offside there. He was looking to come up with a big tackle, a bit of frustration. Meters in front of the referee, and there just a grab up around the neck area, which will result in the Raiders again attack deep in their opponent's territory.
A bit more than 16 minutes of the first half remaining, and to their credit, Newcastle only 4 points behind as Canberra now set up to look for a converted try. That's what they want, and they want it if they can before half-time while they've got use of the breeze. And here's another penalty given by Newcastle right in front, 10 metres out.
That's unforgivable. The defensive line against the tap, the penalty tap, not staying back the 10 metres. Okay, enthusiasm only goes so far. Eventually it just becomes undisciplined play. There you can see them breaking the mark. The crowd appealed. That helped the referee. He came up with the penalty.
You might have seen Andrew Johns out on the extreme left of that shot. Andrew must think Eddie Ward is blind. young halfback. So again, for David Furner, I was about to say something that is very simple, but nothing is simple in these conditions. He's only 15 metres out then. Australian Kangaroo in 94. And the Churchill medal in the grand final of last year. 4-0 Canberra, 24.5 minutes gone. And David Furner to get another 2 points, and that he does. So we go back to the halfway line, and we'll do that on the other side of this break.
Sunday night at the movies.
I think she's the one.
The government gave her a choice.
What's it to be, yes or no?
Death or life.
He mentioned the word bullet and he mentioned the word breath.
As the assassin.
I'm scared.
That'll be the day.
Once she took their deal,
In a minute.
she was past the point of no return. Bridget Fonda.
I did something really bad.
Harvey Keitel.
I'm through, I'm through.
There is no out.
The Assassin. Premieres Sunday, 8:30 on Win Television.
You better make that two. Foster's Light Ice for extreme refreshment.
Designed for speed and power, the Lynx has a very flexible spine, enabling it to twist and turn with ease. The reason why a falling cat usually lands on its feet, while soft pads provide its legendary ability for silent hunting, which it usually does in pairs. Lynx, the wildest thing on 2 feet.
These two big names in petrol have joined forces with the biggest game on TV to bring you a winner.
And it's all tied into our nightly cash card segment.
Yep, until August the 4th, anyone who spends $10 or more at Ampol or Caltex gets a cash card.
And if they scratch the right day...
And the same suit as the $5,000 cash card machine on our show, they could win not $5,000, but $10,000. And that's every day.
Over 6 weeks, that's $300,000. So come on, Glenn, let's go and fill up.
Buy your petrol at Ampol or Caltex now.
$1,700,000 going up. $1,800,000 going up.
The $2 jackpot has just reached a monstrous $2 million. And it will keep
going up
until somebody
gets lucky.
This is possibly the most exquisite food ever created. For cats, New Dine Petite Gold. It's what your cat's been waiting for.
Back with Friday Night League, and we're in Canberra tonight, the nation's capital, from Bruce Stadium, the home side, with 3 penalties, leading 6 points to 0 over Newcastle. They came here joint second in the premiership behind Manly. Both had suffered only the 1 loss. Canberra fully aware that that loss was to Manly right here at Bruce Stadium. Out to make amends for that and to let Newcastle know that they are still a long way from being...
Oh, Daly! He's through! Here's the winger in support. Now Mullins! Mullins is away! Look at him go! Crowd-pleasing Australian fullback Mullins. He gets the try, but Daly, he was at his magnificent best.
It was a great break made by Canberra. The fact that they saw that the opposition's defence was in trouble. They go wide, they freeze play here, That's Paul Harrigan, the front rower, Nathan Barnes, the centre, and the winger out here. You've got the speed men up against the big man in the middle, and Laurie Daly able to slide through between Harrigan and Barnes, and the defence looms, as it always does. The man you want to throw the football to in open spaces is the number one, and nobody was ever going to run him down from behind.
Typical Raiders try there, just using the open spaces. They had plenty of numbers, and Dale and Harrigan slipped through there. He's in great form, Laurie Daly, this season, and the support was always going to be there. The speedmen and Mullins finished it off beautifully. Great Raiders try.
There was great urgency, Thaddy, from Laurie Daly. He wanted the football. He saw that Paul Harrigan was against him in defence, and that's why they strung together those 2 or 3 passes to take advantage of that. And they've scored a 90-metre try.
One of the classical runners of the football, Brett Mullins. He is something that rugby league should capture and show it whenever they're trying to promote the game. We've got a problem with the whistle.
The pea's frozen.
A frozen pea. They're not bad either with a meat pie. I'll give you the tip, and look at Mullins streaking away. This action that I'm talking about, an action that few players in the game have brought the crowd to their feet like Mullins. I can run through some of them, but blokes like Graham Eadie for one, Eric Groth was another, Kenny Irvine, Langlands, Gasney, few and far. Vorton, I forgot Vorton, and
second.
That's right, and Sam Backer. Remember Sam, Paul?
I think they're still trying to get mud out of the whistle or dirt. He took a good tumble, Eddie Ward, in back play there. The try was being scored. He ran into some of the players. He was 40 metres away from the try being scored.
3 from 3 for David, but he's been pinching his money. Now you've got to do some work, young fella. 10 metres in, and here he goes, and I think he's done it, has he? Yes, great kick. A beauty from David Ferner. Canberra 12, Newcastle 0.
Win Weather, brought to you by Discount Tyre Service.
Good evening. More damp weather on the way for the region tomorrow. Down the south coast, isolated showers and gusty winds, 6 to 14 in Nowra. On the tablelands, wet, windy and cold with snow on high ground, 3 to 9 in Goulburn, 1 to 8 in Cooma. And the ACT, showers increasing with strong northwesterlies, 2 overnight, 8 degrees tomorrow. Have a great weekend.
Over the break, we'll have speed cameras across the state in an effort to get holiday drivers to slow down. Because our fear is that if we don't take your photo before speed gets you in trouble, we'll have to after.
Before you get in your car to go anywhere, you should check your tyres. There should be 5 tyres, 1 on each corner and 1 in the boot. They should be inflated correctly. Ouch! And worn evenly. Your steering wheel shouldn't shake or pull to one side. Now, if you have any doubts at all about your tyres, ask an expert. I haven't got any problems because I've got 50,000 kilometres or 5 years guarantee in writing from Discount Tyre Service.
Is your bathroom like a fridge? Over 1 million Australians warm to an IXL Tastic every morning. Experience the difference with an IXL Tastic, Australia's #1 bathroom sensation.
It's the most important piece of dirt in the world.
I felt an immediate nervousness.
Something almost supernatural. Some of the great memories are of coming back to the crowd victorious.
The man in the street, if he related to you, you know, you were king.
The American Express card is for all people.
It's like having a neighbour anywhere in Australia.
Even here at the MCG.
The American Express card is welcomed at the MCG and other legendary places.
You want Magna? You want National Capital Motors Magna TS Plus Pack. 1995 Magnas plus. Thousands of dollars of extras. You get all these at less than pre-tax prices. How low? $23,990 low. You want Lancer? You want National Capital Motors GL Coupe. Our discounted pre-tax price, $16,990 lower.
Only National Capital Motors can prove
We won't be beaten.
Save a big 15% off everything. Yes, everything at your local Mitre 10. All stores are closed this Friday morning for stock taking, but from noon until Sunday, everything's discounted by 15%. No exceptions. The Timber Centre, your Mitre 10 store, Phillip, Belconnen and Arundel.
On 60 Minutes, the big business of dyeing.
Caskets with style and quality.
How Americans are taking over our funeral industry.
It is something that they do offer here in the mortuary.
A trade secrets exposed.
They'd be aghast. They would be up in arms about it.
Also, Jeff McMullen uncovers the baby trade.
Steal or find a baby.
Fattened up and sold around the world. Plus, singing their way to stardom.
Ordinary kids.
The Aussie kids wowing the world.
Achieving extraordinary things.
Toyota brings you 60 Minutes, 7:30 Sunday.
The world's greatest tennis tournament, Wimbledon, tonight live on Wim.
Sponsored by Slaven Method.
Back now with the fresh restart of this game, and Chris Joynt has gone on for the Knights. And the player to come from the field is Paul Marquette. As a penalty goes to Canberra. Newcastle, when they're up the end of the ground they want to be, they either put it down or they give a penalty. And when they give a penalty at the other end of the ground, Canberra is within kicking distance. So it has been a miserable start.
That's stupid play from McCormack there. I mean, he just got his arm around the ball and reefed it out right in front of the referee.
Steve Walters taking possession of the ball for the tap restart. Newcastle watching more keenly now, the referee, as he warns them about coming inside the 10. The Raiders, they've struck once in that vital period in front of half-time. They could do it again.
Another great run from Gavico, carrying defenders to the opponent's half. And that's what I like about the Raiders. They create space and time for themselves, and they attack on the outside early in the game. Ricky Stewart sending a lot of runners through as second men runners. Here's Steve Wallace, out of dummy half. They're just very selected where they attack the opposition.
Chris Joynt is out there. St Helens and Great Britain forward as Canberra go across, looking to get outside Newcastle. And again, Bradley Clyde is with the ball out wide. 20 metres out from the line. The last tackle for Stewart, and he decides to go back and across. They've read it, and here comes the winger Nagus. Well, he's going to bring it out for the line dropout. I'm interested to see whether Herman wasn't taken out.
Looks like a set play here from the Raiders. Stewart, you can see Nagus lining up on the left-hand side of the field there, and Stewart puts the one back. Herman went over his head, chased for the football. Nagus on Herman. It's fair play.
It is fair play. It came off the hand of Herman. No longer were they in pursuit of the football. Had he have not touched it, then definitely there was a penalty warranted. But he was the man that batted it over the dead ball line.
And that is indeed a set play from Ricky Stewart. That's normally he kicks for Mullins, but that time it was Brad Clyde. Nagus reacting to the kick.
Wesley plays at 30 metres out. Steve Walters got around Darren Tracy, who was the only marker. And now they're 19 metres out from the line with Quentin Pong here, a dummy half. And again, DeVico slams it up 10 metres out. Walters looking for Stewart and finding him. And he goes for a drop goal from right in front. He turns his back on it. He's happy with it. Ward's hand went in the air. And another point on the Canberra total. 13-0 after 31.
Well, that's just completely professional play here. Looks up at the scoreboard, sees that they're 12 in front. That puts them 13. Makes the opposition needing to score 3 times. And we're into the final 10 minutes of this first half.
Yeah, it's good play, but gee, I don't know. I reckon Newcastle were ready to crack again. Another 6 points on the board there. You know, it was only on the 3rd and 4th tackle, and would have been just about all over.
Johns sending it down to Ricky Stewart. That incidentally was his 21st field goal in this illustrious career. Ricky Stewart in rugby league, 21 field goals.
Well, I get the feeling that the Raiders don't think they're having many problems getting from their own end of the field. Certainly the penalties have counted against Newcastle, but they're picking up plenty of easy yards. They'll have another good attacking opportunity before half-time to put on that converted try.
Furman breaking over the 40-metre line. Play has been centralised as Steve Walters goes across for Daly, who broke the defence of Newcastle and sent Mullins away with Nandruku's help for that great try a few minutes back. 137 games tonight for Laurie Daly. One of the many very good players that have joined the Raiders from that massive area through the Riverina.
I thought you were going to say Junee, Ravs.
I'm proud of him, joined, and proud of him too. Here's Tim Sheens, who could well be domiciled at Townsville if the reports are correct that we're reading. And Newcastle now 10 metres out from their line. They go across and they find the man that can do it for them. It's Ainscough. Mullins is in pursuit. He's going to round him up. Ainscough goes for a fend on him, but Mullins is there to make the tackle. Penalty goes to the Knights.
Let's take the tap, and it should be a sin bin, that one, as Gordon takes the quick tap and gets inside the 10 metres.
Ashley Gordon to play it. Matthew Johns, the dummy half. Andrew out wide. He pushes it wider. Harrigan on for McCormack. Away from a tackle. Trying to get the arms free, but takes the tackle eventually. 12 metres out from the Canberra line. Getting close to half-time. Newcastle would love a converted try. That is Chris Joint now, working on the blind side. McCormack scurries in for dummy half play. Gets a pretty quick play the ball. John's over now. Muir is with it. Put down by Ferner. Stewart over the top. Make sure that the man playing the ball gets up last. I thought that was a forward pass, and Eddie Ward agrees as Harrigan is banged into the ground by Steve Walters.
Oh, that's just rubbing salt into it. Great run by Ainscough. It was about an 80-metre effort from him from the scrum base, the way they went, but couldn't finish it off. Here's the scrum, a very simple play. He got in between Wiki and Nadruku, and away he went. He had Mullins covered, then he got away, and then Mullins came again, but Newcastle couldn't convert it.
He's got good speed, Ainscough. It took a while for Mullins to pick him up from behind.
So the scrum won by Canberra. Stewart throws a chancy pass. Jason Croker had to go right out to bring it in, and it could have easily been that Newcastle would come up with the ball close to the line. But the way Lady Luck has been smiling, she isn't smiling for them tonight. Massive audience, I would imagine, watching us tonight in the coalfields, the Hunter Valley. Don't give up yet. 13-0. One of the more vocal rugby league support crowds. Great people up at Newcastle. Trailing at the moment down here. 13-0, but you've got the breeze in the second half, and you couldn't play any worse, really, could you? Stewart's pass is okay. Daly puts it on the boot. Down it goes for Davis. Back inside the 10-metre line. Down the ground comes the defence of Croker. Now Herman has given a penalty. An obstruction has been ordered. And this could be the sin bin for O'Davis for reefing the ball away. Ward has said, I want you. Robbie has walked away. Yeah, he's gone. 10 minutes in the bin. Harrigan, his head goes down like a beaten favourite. And why wouldn't it? The discipline starting to drop off.
Well, they never panicked at all in Canberra. 3 and 4 players going through to get Ricky Stewart on the last tackle. He threw the big pass across to his option kicker in Laurie Daly. Got the kick down, and then just a total mix-up in communication. And Robbie O'Davis and his wingman. The penalty for the Shepherd here. Just you don't see this at all. Herman getting between Croker and the ball carrier. And then Brad Clyde very keen to get the football.
I mean, it's hard to blame anyone there in that situation, but you shouldn't be shepherding there. 10 metres with only 2 players is different when you've got 8 to run behind, but Herman really should have been running out wide and giving O'Davis plenty of room.
Got to say, there could have almost been a professional foul at the other end too from the Ainscough break. I thought the Canberra player was at fault there, and it was a professional foul as well. That one just much more obvious there from Robbie O'Davis.
David Ferner, 66%, and this one, he's just pushed it wide. So Ferner makes his first mistake with the boot, and Gordon brings it back into the field of play. This is Glanville. Pursued and rounded up by Nandruku. Over the top comes Pongia. Ainscough goes off for Chris Joint. Joint, an interesting player. in many ways, but I read with interest some of the things these players dream of most, and his is of meeting Mother Teresa. As McCormack pushes on for Andrew Johns to go on for his brother, and then across for Tracy. And Newcastle on the 40-metre line, 5 tackles, and they get a penalty. It's against the marker. And Andrew Johns spears it off to the far side of Bruce Stadium with this rain or sleet still driving down. And now his joint out wide. He's one player that should be relishing the conditions. He's got a big M next to his name, W for wet tracker.
Oh, he loves it back at Knowsley Road.
McCormack now, just inside the 40-metre line, over for Andrew Johns, and then his brother, and then they go across to a forward out wide in Adam Muir. Still Newcastle unable to, apart from Ainscough, make a clean break. They're becoming frustrated, and of course frustration, it breeds a lot of things. Andrew Johns now in the centre of the ground, just outside the 20-metre line. Matthew works across, waves players in. Ainscough taken in a bell ringer there by Wiki.
Thank you.
And now it's with Matthew, and he dances away from Stewart and goes away from the 30, puts it on the boot and rolls it over the touchline, inches into the field of play.
Well, they're trying hard, aren't they, these two Johns boys? They're virtually playing lone hands for mine out there. Newcastle not really getting a roll on through their forwards. Though Joints added some starts to them. Maybe he was pressured there with that kick, but probably a high kick might have been better served for their side.
I don't think he could get into a position to kick the ball, Paul. It was just great work again from the Canberra chasers to get him over this side of the field, so he was forced to grub her.
So Canberra should win this scrum. And Stewart using Mandruku, who's done some clever things in this match. That try that was scored by Mullins, keep in mind, was on the left of the ground, and Mandruku is playing on the right wing. And he really went across to get involved. The bounce favours Canberra. Croker looking to get the arms free, and eventually Barnes makes the tackle with Ashley Gordon, but there's still a problem. Canberra now, players everywhere in motion. Stewart unloads, Daly rakes it in. The ball goes on for Pongia, and he's put away by Muir and by Joint and by Tracy. 12 metres out in the centre. Walters to the right for Stewart to turn in. Daly bumps away from Muir, and 28ers around the legs, and that is Joint. McCormack over the top. Walters, he senses they can score again in the seconds remaining, and Furner angles for the post on the corner. Croker comes in, plants the ball down, and Canberra, they go in for another try.
Okay. Oh,
17-0.
Somebody stop them.
Well, here it is. When she's not smiling, she is not smiling.
Wonderful play by the Raiders. They just keep putting the pressure on this Newcastle, who have really cracked in this first half tonight. They've got a lot of work to do. Look at the space out there. The defence comes up out wide. Barnes, ordinary work from him, and Croker won't score an easy try in his whole career, then that one.
Head on. This is the way the nightmare unfolded for Newcastle. Barnes, Nathan got lost completely. Herman had to come in. It was obligatory. And Canberra will go to the break, which, according to our timepieces with us, the siren has sounded, in fact. And they enjoy this very big lead. 4 from 5 for David Furner. You can see the strength of the breeze blowing across the face of the jumper. And here he is from a wide angle. Looks good, bringing it around on the breeze, and David, he retires with his teammates with 5 out of 6 and 19-0 on the scoreboard. It might be cold, but they be warm on the inside, and warm in the knowledge that they, if they can play some percentage football, have got this game won. Canberra 19, Newcastle 0. We'll break and be back with Peter and Paul in just a moment.
Saturday.
Just think of us as tragically immature.
Have a blast.
I thought he said shocking.
With Hey Hey.
Are you sure you've never been hit in the head? No.
With Christine Anu, 4 p.m, Richard Pleasance and Linda Reader.
One night only.
Hey Hey on Win Television.
Sweet draft.
Strongbow. Get into it any way you can.
Save a big 15% off everything. Yes, everything at your local Mitre 10. All stores are closed this Friday morning for stock taking, but from noon until Sunday, everything's discounted by 15%. No exceptions. The Timber Centre, your Mitre 10 store, Phillip, Belconnen and Arundale.
There's no limit to how far some companies will go to build teamwork.
This isn't about being big and strong, it's about being together.
Lotus introduces NoteSuite, 5 desktop applications for team computing, integrated with the leading groupware communications tool, Lotus Notes. It changes the way companies work because it changes the way people work.
Can we go with this one?
Together.
I like what you've done with this.
I do too.
You've done well, my dear.
Haven't I, though? Oh. Who's this from, I
Staying
wonder?
in touch with loved ones overseas isn't always easy.
It's from Jean. Look, it's got Australian stamps.
But now you can give those loved ones something very special.
Happy birthday, Mum. Please call the number on the card enclosed.
With Telstra International Home Link, they can phone you direct, whenever they need to, without a worry.
Hello, Jean. Oh, darling, it's so lovely to hear your voice. Yes. So how does it work?
The call costs are charged back to you at Australian rates, plus a service fee per call. That's less than reverse charges.
Thank you, dear. This means more than you can imagine.
Give the gift of staying in touch with Telstra International Home Link.
Yeah, I've been carrying the American Express card since 1982.
Yeah, I got my card in 81, beat your team.
It's one of the best decisions that I've made.
Isn't it time you applied? Look for this display and take one.
Sweet, dry, or tough? Strongbow. Get into it any way you can.
Saturday night at the movies.
It fits! Honey, don't worry.
The original and the best.
Stop that! Can you get my kitty cat over the tree?
No problem, ma'am. Police Academy, 8:30 Saturday on Win Television.
It's been all Canberra in the first 40 minutes here at Bruce Stadium. At the break, they lead the Newcastle Knights 19 points to 0. A mistake-riddle first half from the Newcastle side. And there you see the first half statistics. A lot of ball for the Raiders. It was handed over by their opposition. 6 handling errors, a lot of missed tackles. And one of the unbelievable statistics in that first half, 15 penalties coming out of 40 minutes of football. And Paul Vaughton, 90-0 at half-time. Doubtful to think that Newcastle can come back from that, but they've dug their own grave.
Well, they won't play a worst half. They haven't played a worst half in their 8 years they've been in the comp. I can tell you that. Malcolm really, he'll be spewing in there at the moment. He'll be filthy about the way they've played. They've just turned over too much possession, too many penalties against them, and they've virtually handed Canberra 19 points.
Well, it was an awful first 20 minutes. Gave away a couple of penalties. They did kick 2 goals, the Raiders, put them 4 clear, but eventually something had to break, and Mullins, taking advantage of some good work from Stewart and Daly, put on the first try.
Yeah, Laurie Daly's had a great first half for the Raiders. He sets up this try beautifully. Newcastle offence always stretched. See, they've got 4 on 3, couple of decoys on the inside. which Daly allowed him plenty of room to move through. And then the support, of course, came from all over the place, and Mullins, no one was going to catch him over in the corner. But that was the result of Newcastle once again making too many mistakes. They'd dropped the ball 3 tackles previously.
Yeah, the good sides are prepared to throw the football in their own territory, and the Raiders read that particularly well. Few bright spots for Newcastle, but it also came from a break made from their own, well, a scrum win 10 metres out from their own line. Ainscough nearly going all the way. That was their best chance in the first 40.
Good to see a side who's prepared to throw the ball out, even if they're only 10 metres out from their own line. And this is an example of that. Not too many sides do it these days. But there was a decoy there, and Ainscough just went straight through. He's been in great form. As we said before the match, 3 tries last week. And I thought even here he might get away from Mullins. But, of course, Mullins picked up a gear or two, and away he went and gave away a penalty there. As you said during the call, may have got 10 minutes in the bin, but Eddie Ward said no.
Now, we questioned to an extent the Ricky Stewart field goal to put them 13 clear, but they broke the Hearts in the last 30 seconds of that first half, taking advantage of a bounce. Jason Craig, a great chase. He scored the try, and that really probably is the final nail for them. Malcolm really will be livid that they allowed them to score again before the break.
Yeah, 19 was a really big lead at half-time for Canberra, and once again at the end of it, another great try to the Raiders. But Newcastle always stretched. Once again, some order in defence then. They didn't play man-on-man. They just raced up out of the line, and Krager strolled over, fresh air in front of him for a simple try. Malcolm really, he's got a lot of work in there at half-time, talking mainly about the possession they've turned over and the missed tackles.
Not as much work as these players in the next 40 minutes.
No.
The one thing about Newcastle is they won't give up. They've only lost the 1 match this year, so their form has been good up to this. They'll battle on for this next 40 minutes. This weekend, of course, the Commonwealth Bank Cup continues, and tomorrow at 12 noon from the Bruce Stadium, it's Cromer High up against McCarthy Catholic Senior High School. And from this match, we've chosen this as our Coca-Cola Junior Player of the Week.
5 metres into Cromer territory. Curry, now Dunn, good pass away to Levy. He gets the ball back to Dunn, over the 20-metre line. He gets past the centre easily, and Banham bunts off Granny. Here's Dunn, can he find support? Goes himself. Sensational try by Jay Dunn. Throws the arm in the air.
Hang your head, Cromer. Watch this. They're all speed humps. Spins out of the last tackle there. Dummies. And doesn't he like it too?
One of the best individual efforts we've seen in the Schoolboy Cup competition this year. Been about 27 players in that run. Once again, we do thank Coca-Cola for their continued support of the Commonwealth Bank Cup. Footy show back on Sunday afternoon, of course, 12 noon. A host of guests coming in. Bradley Clyde from tonight's game. So too Jamie Ainscough, Danny Moore, Les Davidson and Brent Stewart, the Kiwi Test front rower, all joining us. That's at Sunday, 12 noon. And next Friday night, the second of the Trans-Tasman series, second test match between Australia and New Zealand, 8:30 p.m. from the Sydney Football Stadium. The Kiwis, of course, looking to level the series. Plenty happening in sport. Wimbledon on at the moment, only 3 Aussies left there, of course, but all the big names still in action. We'll see that over the weekend, as we will plenty of other sport on the wide world of sports.
Join us tomorrow on Wide World of Sports when we take you poolside with the superstars of Australian swimming at the Telstra Grand Prix Series. You'll see Hayley Lewis, Susie O'Neill, Rebecca Brown, Phil Rogers, Nicole Stevenson and Samantha Riley churning up the pool in this all-important countdown to the Pan Pacific Games. We'll also give you a chance to be part of the fun as we put a brand new car up for grabs in our Hyundai Memorable Moments giveaway. From Wimbledon, we'll send down all the latest highlights plus a full review of the opening week's action at the world's greatest tennis tournament. On Sports Sunday this weekend, we take a look at the shape of sport in the wake of the big withdrawal of tobacco sponsorships. Meet Graham Cohan, the first Australian to scorch down the quarter mile in under 5 seconds. And profile netball skipper Michelle Felke as she prepares to lead our national side in another world title defence. All that and a whole lot more coming your way this weekend on the one and only Wide World of Sports.
Your Wednesday mystery movie.
I think we've got a plan.
A drug lord's wife in hiding.
Knows I'm here, Dave.
Check this.
The police want her evidence.
Whatever it takes, Dave.
You two must have had quite an ordeal.
The Colombians want her dead.
This is a death threat.
My husband's little colleague. His kiss of death.
Peter Topano.
Oh my God, if even half of this is accurate.
For the first spellbinding time.
This could be bigger than we imagine.
Your Wednesday mystery movie, Seduction, on Win Television.
Let's get rid of the stock.
When Jerry talks, we listen. Prices are slashed. This Microsoft Home mouse is below half price. At $25, you save $35. But you'd better be quick. This is a limited offer. The genuine stock clearance on now at a Harvey Norman store near you.
Save a big 15% off everything. Yes, everything at your local Mitre 10. All stores are closed this Friday morning for stock taking, but from noon until Sunday, everything's discounted by 15%. No exceptions. The Timber Centre, your Mitre 10 store, Phillip, Belconnen and Arundel.
It's a very easy drive from the city centre of Canberra to the very different, very exciting Harcourt Hill estate. It offers a new lifestyle and appears to be a world away. It simply shows that superior planning can create all the difference in the world. Harcourt Hill Estate. It doesn't just claim to be different. It is different.
This is the time. This is the place. Shepherd Ford wants, correction, must have your business. And they'll listen to any offers to get it. Buy a new car, used car, or even a heavy truck and let Shepherd Ford surprise you with their fantastic changeover price on your existing vehicle. You can't afford not to see Shepherd Ford. They guarantee to make it worth your while. For parts, service and a great changeover price, all roads lead to Shepherd Ford, Josephson Street, Belconnen, under the big blue top.
Like basketball, the computer industry is competitive and moves very fast. That's why I'm here at Boswell's Computers and Communications Mitchell. And just check these prices. So for all your computer needs, deal with the pros.
You've done well, my dear.
Haven't I, though? Oh, who's this from, I
Staying
wonder?
in touch with loved ones overseas isn't always easy.
It's from Jean. Look, it's got Australian stamps.
But now you can give those loved ones something very special.
Happy birthday, Mum. Please call the number on the card enclosed.
With Telstra International Home Link, they can phone you direct, whenever they need to, without a worry.
Hello, Jean. Oh, darling, it's so lovely to hear your voice. Yes. So how does it work?
The call costs are charged back to you at Australian rates, plus a service fee per call. That's less than reverse charges.
Thank you, dear. This means more than you can imagine.
Give the gift of staying in touch with Telstra International Home Link.
Let's get rid of the stock.
When Jerry talks, we listen. Prices are slashed. Pay just $1,095 for this Pioneer 6-disc mini stereo system and save a massive $400, but you better be quick. The genuine stock clearance on now at a Harvey Norman store near you.
The Sydney Bulldogs at home to Cronulla Sutherland, Sunday, 6:30 on Win.
Eddie Ward back from the comfort of the dressing rooms. And that wind, if anything, has picked up. Solid rain. And Newcastle with nothing really going for them. See if the smile of fortune is upon them now, of good fortune. And there's a ball that hits and skims away.
Well, that's a good start for them.
It is a good start.
Is it what? Didn't that take off?
I've got a feeling it might have hit a sprinkler head or something.
Well, it's hit something. I saw you do this once on the 5th at Castle Hill. Took off like that, straight over the back of the green.
Well, the line dropout will see Newcastle quite unexpectedly come back with the football. They're trailing 19-0. Boyler's on and Mullins is off. We'll get more news on that from Steve in just a moment. I don't expect that there's a major problem with Mullins. 40-metre line for Newcastle on their first tackle, the first of the second half. Barnes wrapped up and put away again by DeVico. Steve Walters must be mentioned. He's made a lot of tackles in the middle of the ruck. Been shutting them down since they kicked off with a great effort in defence straight up the middle. McCormick is opposite number. Here's Steve Walters as they come across now. Newcastle, they need to score a try, and it would do them the world of good to get it earlier rather than later. Harrigan, 15 out from the line. Play almost in the centre. They've got players in motion as Matthew Johns kicks, and Canberra underneath it. Well taken over there by Ken Nagus. In fact, Noah Nandruku.
Well taken, and a great chase by Darren Tracy, who was out there. And, as a result, 6 more tackles for the Knights from the dropout. Good chase by Tracy, looming out wide. A better run there by Paul Harrigan. He beat a couple. He knocked a couple out of the way and ran with lots of determination.
Ruku, will you ever forget his entry into rugby league, his first season here? He really set the world on fire. As we find the ball being played now just outside the 30-metre line. And Tracy runs onto a fairly narrow corridor on the blind side. McCormick it is who delivers back for Andrew Johns to, Adam Muir puts it down. But he's having an unhappy night, Adam Muir.
He is indeed, and his form over the last couple of weeks has been outstanding at all levels. Really, they're struggling to string together passes, the Newcastle side. They look uncertain in their execution. And Steve, that's been a big problem for them, what was said at half-time.
Yeah, well, just firstly on Brett Mullins, he has a groin injury, so some bad news for the Raiders. Look, Timmy Sheens was quite happy. He said we can catch a few of their forwards loafing out a bit wider of the ruck, so Laurie and Ricky, look out for that. He wants his players to hold them down just a little bit longer, and he warned them about the Johns brothers. They can do anything on a football field. They've got to keep an eye on them. While for the Newcastle Knights, Malcolm Rulli, he was very, very disappointed. He said, forget about the first half, we've got to get up. But he pointed out silly ball control, childish errors, fundamental drop balls. They're doing things that they wouldn't normally do. He said, look, they're getting a fair bit of mileage out of the scooting, so get in there and scoot, but go with support.
Well, look at Ricky Stewart. He knows every blade of grass here. And with pinpoint accuracy, he finds the line a metre out from the corner post. He's got a problem there with that left foot. Clutching at that left foot, and it's not the first time tonight. It's as if he's got some kind of a cramp or a spasm that grabs him. That was off his right foot, but it looked like it was the left that he was clutching at, the one giving him problems. Herman now plays at 20 metres out, and this is Glanville who goes away, but met by this surge of green. They just keep coming up in the line, and they've only broken it once, Newcastle. Ainscough got a break on them, but that's all. So they haven't offered them much, and even these boys, the Johns brothers, have been frustrated by it all. Harrigan getting it up to almost the halfway line. 19-0, 2 tries. Mullins and Croker, they got the 2 tries for the Raiders in the latter part of the half, 26 and 39. Davis goes back on to give Newcastle 13 players as Nagus is put away just outside the 20-metre line by Barnes and Herman. Now Clyde towards the centre of the ground. Davis back from the sin bin. And now Pongia works a play with Furner, and Furner strides out of Herman's tackle. Walters away from dummy half and wide of the markers, and out then for Boyle to give back in for Wesley. And McCormick is there with Croker. Canberra's performance tonight, one of the highlights of their performance has been their low mistake rate. And in these conditions, you could forgive a side for making an alarming amount of them, but they have been very confident, very sure, purposeful in what they do.
The most important thing to look at in statistics is the unforced errors. Okay, in these conditions you are tending to make more of them, but not to that magnitude, especially compared to the oppositions. Straight
Glanville to the 40-metre line. Centre of the park. Which way will they choose to go? Well, in fact, they're more now to the right of the ground as Glanville gets it off for Andrew Johns, and then Matthew, and he puts a kick over. Is there a chase on it? There is, but it's a long way behind the Canberra runners, and it goes in touch in goal, so that brings it back to the centre of the 20-metre line for a tap restart by the Canberra side. The defending champions in what looks as though it's going to be the last Winfield Cup. I see in the papers where there is an appeal from the Australian Rugby League to Carmen Lawrence for the Winfield sponsorship to be extended. I must admit, given the exemptions that have been given to many other sports, I would find that Mrs. Lawrence, if it is Mrs. Lawrence, might have a problem refusing the Rugby League application.
Another great charge there from Steve Walters, really choosing his time to run to perfection. Laurie Daly now kicking from 2 passes wide. Avis some ground to cover. The big plus again for Canberra tonight is the form of both Brad Kite and Ruben Wiki. I don't think there's any doubt that Ruben Wiki will be in the centres in the second test as Herman over the sideline.
And, well, the rot continues for the Knights. They cannot do anything right. There's a couple of heads down in as a few of the forwards come into the scrum. Second tackle and straight over the touchline.
They might have scrambled to win that match last Saturday, but they're not scrambling tonight. Daly pushing it on without hesitation for Wiki. Canberra using all the paddock as they go from one side to the other and then back again, straining and draining the stamina. Ooh, good shot. Really was a big hit by Harrigan. Wesley up and played it quickly. Furner, he's over. David's in again. Well, we remember a match here earlier in the year. He had a blinder against Brisbane, and he's turning it on again tonight.
A great individual effort, but Paul Harrigan's shoulder charge set this up as we freeze played there. That's Paul Harrigan coming back from making the shoulder charge tackle. No marker in second, and as play continues, Steve Walters again realises that there's a bit of space there. Furner through the tackle of both Muir and Harrigan beats O'Davis and scores a great try into the post. He makes a habit of scoring specials.
Oh, he loves this David Furner. He's a great stepper and a runner of the football. And he's on fire tonight. Has been all season, David Furner. Not only kicking well, but running the football, he's just in fantastic form. And that's probably the 3rd or 4th try he scored like that this season.
The Raiders showing that even though they score them monotonously, they can still enjoy it. And here he is now, David Furner, kicking his 6th goal of the night. Add to that his try, and after 49, as Mark Sargent goes on, Canberra lead 25-0.
7:30 Tuesday on Win, it's the home video show semi-final.
Meg, what's for dinner?
The best of the best, your favourites for this year. Followed today by more hidden camera madness on Just Kidding.
You cartoon character!
Then at 8:30 on Married with Children.
If I can't give it to your mother, then I have to give it to your mother.
It's Al's worst nightmare.
Go upstairs?
Why not? I'm already dirty.
Followed by all new Halen Paints. Tuesday's the big one for comedy, right here on Win.
You better make that too. Foster's Light Ice for extreme refreshment.
Designed for speed and power, the Lynx has a very flexible spine, enabling it to twist and turn with ease. The reason why a falling cat usually lands on its feet, while soft pads provide its legendary ability for silent hunting, which it usually does in pairs. Lynx, the wildest thing on 2 feet.
For the
bank that's really taking care of business with business loans from 8.95%. State what you want from a bank.
TAB, the adrenaline bet.
Call me old-fashioned, but there's nothing I like better than a bowl of traditional hearty stew. So I'm really excited about these two new hearty stews from Chum, full of beef or chicken with vegetables, and the chumpy goodness I've come to expect from Chum. Your wee doggy will love the variety, and you'll appreciate the good old-fashioned savings. Oh, talking about savings, I forgot to save some for the clan. New Chum hearty stew.
The Bridgestone G-Grid is designed to grip. G-Grid's advanced rubber compound and aggressive tread pattern gives you superior handling and precise stopping.
Bridgestone, that's confidence.
Welcome back to Canberra, where it's raining, and it's raining on the fortunes of Newcastle very much, but they're playing a very hot Canberra side tonight.
But once again, that Canberra try came from a Newcastle mistake when they ran into touch in the second tackle. Now they've got a chance, the Knights.
McCormack it was who came up with that loose ball, offered by Canberra on very infrequent occasions tonight. The penalty goes to Newcastle, and the time suggests that taking kicks at goal, an absolute waste of time. There's been a couple of changes. David Cox has gone on for Bradley Clyde, and Mark Glanville is in the blood bin, and Mark Sargent is on, as Newcastle is forced back under the weight of the defence. McCormack plays it, Harrigan gives it, and here's Sargent. Juggled it as he approached the defence. A quick play the ball is necessary. McCormack goes across for Andrew Johns and then runs around his halfback. Robbie O'Davis comes in from fullback. Chris Joint is with it, but the green jumpers, they keep appearing and outnumbering the attack. They go left now for Matthew to turn it in, and Muir is underneath that tackle from Wesley. The two number 11s came together. Andrew Johns tries to roll it in, and a penalty goes to Newcastle. It's offside against Canberra. So a quick tap is needed, but not forthcoming. Half a chance for Newcastle there. And now they slow it right down and give Canberra a chance to get it ready. McCormack, Matthew Johns, Mark Sargent. The line is about 7 metres in front of him. McCormack again as they work for a set play, and Harrigan goes back and they go through the Johns brothers for Ainsko and Jason Croker. One of the best, David Boyle, one of the best defenders in the Canberra side, coming up and making a solid tackle. Andrew Johns, a long pass. They go for the intercept. That creates the opening. Barnes it is, Nathan Barnes. He gets the try, the first for Newcastle.
Plenty of possession down this end of the field in the last couple of minutes, and Nathan Barnes taking advantage of the long pass from Andrew Johns, almost an intercept. See here, not very good organisation from the Knights. Wide cut-out pass. Barnes able to get around the outside of Nagas. If he'd have been able to pluck the ball out, he'd have scored at the other end of the field. Luck was a fortune there for the Knights.
A good foresight by Johns to see that. Plenty of space out there. Canberra with a very cramped defence. Barnes is happy he's got a try. 18th in his career.
Youngest player on the field, actually, 19 years of age.
Wouldn't surprise me to see Newcastle score a few tries. If they can control the football, they're a good football side. That's what they've got to do.
Andrew Johns now. From a fairly wide angle, he's 11 metres in from touch on the grandstand side of Bruce, and there it goes, but it's across the face of the uprights. So after 52 minutes, it's Canberra 25-4. Nathan Barnes, and here is the try again. This long pass by Andrew Johns created it. Nagas, he assisted by coming up looking for the intercept. But this boy had a brilliant game last weekend, Nathan Barnes. What's the story on Brad Clyde? Is there a problem, Blocker?
Yeah, the good thing it's not his knee. He's only got a cork thigh, so I don't think he'll be back tonight, but it's not that bad.
All right. So Canberra now off the boot of Laurie Daly. Sending it down and keeping it fairly shallow. I would rather prefer than the strength of the wind into it. And Andrew Johns on the 20-metre line as McCormick elects to go to the right for Harrigan. Wesley gets bumped off by the big Newcastle captain.
Had some amazing results, haven't we? The games that we've telecast between the top sides this year. Early on, Manly 30-0 over Norths. We had Canberra beating Brisbane here 26-0. Manly 26-0 over the Bulldogs. And then last week, Newcastle 42-0 over the Dogs again. The way this game was shaping, it was going to be a nil scoreline until Barnes was able to cross. Now Mark Sargent down hurt. Heavy defence once again.
What's what happens here with Mark Sargent? I fancy it might be a knee problem.
They've called for the stretcher for Big Sarge. His left leg gets caught here, and his ankle gets twisted there somewhere.
Some of the big men have had no luck at all in the last week or so with ankle injuries. We had James Pickering from Canterbury last weekend. He suffered the fate of a fractured ankle. And big Mark Sargent, who is probably in his last year on the field. I think he's looking at some administration, but he has been a great warrior. And let's hope that this is not too serious for him. Well, we'll take a break and we'll come back as Billy Peden prepares to go on for Newcastle. We'll break and be back in just a moment. 25-4 to Canberra.
Monday.
A bypass won't help. I'm way down on the list for a transplant.
A story so amazing.
When I took his hand to say goodbye, I was as weak as a baby's.
So incredible.
We did everything we could.
It could only be true.
Mr. Doucette received the heart of his 18-year-old grandson.
A tragedy that tore a family apart.
I should have been told.
But brought with it a change of heart.
The old heart in me would have had them haul you away and lock you up.
Andy Griffith stars in the premiere of The Gift of Love, Monday, 8:30 on Win.
Scratch that and your life's not worth living. What a guy. Hello, Fatty. Get the Barbie ready.
Actually, something worth putting on the Barbie.
Look after Mum, Spunky.
Hey, gonna get your mother?
Take it easy on the open roads, yeah? Dad. I don't drive like that anymore. I haven't copped the ticket in yonks.
A fishing trip has turned to tragedy with another horror smash adding to New South Wales weekend road toll. Police are blaming speed.
Two young males heading off on a fishing trip died here late this afternoon. The road was dry and locals say there was little traffic. Police put it down to speed.
We can make laws, we can give all the warnings in the world. But in the end, it's up to individual drivers to drive within the speed limits.
As yet, the bodies of the two young men have not been identified.
This is possibly the most exquisite food ever created. For cats, new Dine Petite Gold. It's what your cat's been waiting for.
Hey look, Autobarn have just opened another new store in Belconnen. They have a huge range of car parts and accessories with friendly staff to answer questions. And to celebrate, they're having a huge 20% off everything grand opening sale. 20% off car care products and car parts. 20% off oils, lubricants and car audio. 20% off seat covers and more. But you'd better hurry as this 20% off everything grand opening sale is only on this Saturday and Sunday. Only at Autobarn Belconnen. Don't miss out.
For just $12, Video Easy are giving you the chance to fly to New Zealand to witness the clash of the season when the Canberra Raiders play the Auckland Warriors in New Zealand. It's easy. Just spend $12 at any participating Video Easy store and you can go into the draw for this fantastic trip, including 2 return airfares to Auckland flying Qantas, 5-star accommodation and tickets to the big game. It's another reason why the choice is easy.
At Lloyd's Liquor Market, you'll find St. Agnes Brandy, $14.95 a bottle. Hardy Collection Cabernet Sauvignon or Chardonnay, $8.95. Great range, great prices. Lloyd's Liquor Market, no wonder they've got everyone talking. The finish of the financial year is the start of great savings at Retrovision stores. Race in for Philips 51cm remote control colour TVs, just $598. Philips 4-head video recorders are crossing the line at only $469. Be a winner with Philips MIDI 5 CD sound systems, just $689. And Philips Power Blenders break the tape at a tiny $49. Finish the financial year with great savings at Retrovision, the biggest retailer of electrical appliances.
Yes, and welcome back now as Mark Sargent is transported from the field. And we're not absolutely sure what the problem is. Blocker will get some idea as the medicos come past him. Sargent with Kangaroo on the 1990 tour. It was. So he's off the field, and that's his replacement taking it up, Billy Peden. And they go back now to kick, and they go high, but it's sort of a nothing kick. It's a midfield bomb. The scramble is on, and Harrigan comes up with it, but he's offside, so Canberra gets a penalty.
Well, the kicker did chase through this, and I don't know if that rule still in, Raz, we can put him onside because he.
Well, he's the only man that can put them on.
Well, just watch him. He kicks the ball and then goes through. Right. And well, they're all onside now, aren't they?
Exactly. Exactly. The only man that can put anybody on side is the kicker. And looking at that, you're absolutely right. And Paul Harrigan was entitled to blow up. But keep in mind that the referee has probably ruled that Harrigan, being offside, got inside the 10. And that's what a lot of people tend to forget. He might have finished up onside, but his first obligation, until he's put onside, is to stay 10 metres away. And you'll find that's the way Eddie Ward has ruled there. So it's from Ferner and Stewart, and then across Wesley for Daly to give, and Ricky to run it, and then turn it, and Croker. Croker! He's over the 20-metre line. Wesley's there to support the big second rower. He's over. Wesley gets a try. Great work by him.
Yes, tremendous work from the Canberra players, but abysmal defence. The Adam Muir attempted tackle in this passage of play is very, very ordinary to say the least. So too was Nathan Barnes' tackle on Wiki. Croker straight over the top of Muir. He did slip. We'll put that in his favour. And O'Davis able to come up with the tackle, and Wesley straight through Darren Tracy. Players slipping off left, right and centre. Too big, too strong, too tough.
Oh, and the Raiders just go crunch-a-rooney. Away they go. Another great Raiders try. Some flimsy defence there from Newcastle. The game's all over. They're slipping and sliding all over the place, falling off players. The Raiders are hot. And Wesley's had a good game. He's had a good year as well. He fully deserves that try.
David Wesley comes out of it a little bit unhealthy, but the thought of scoring a try will help him get over it, I'm sure, as David Ferner adds a further 2 points to his total and the team's total. And Canberra on the rampage, 31-4, and big score lines between these two sides in recent times. Not unusual. As we watch the try again, a face ball was a beauty. Wiki did well. Croker trampled over the top of them, and then Big Wesley trailing through after having been involved earlier on. He is taken from the field now as we see the restart, and DeVico brings it back. Wesley coming from the field, and 26 is about to go on. That'll be Jason Deeth for the Canberra Raiders. I mentioned big scores. Last year in this corresponding game, it was 34-8, Canberra over Newcastle. And remember, we went to Marathon last year, a television match, and Mullen scored 4 tries in a 52-16 hiding that Canberra gave Newcastle on their home Coliseum. O'Davis now. What's the story on Mark Sargent's health, Blocker?
Yeah, lateral knee ligament damage to Mark Sargent. Not good news.
Well, you know something about that.
Yep.
For a big man, it's even more difficult, isn't it?
It certainly is, Ray. It's hard to come back from that.
You all right?
Sorry?
Are you okay?
Oh, thank you, mate. Thanks for your concern.
His umbrella keeps blowing inside out, and it is a big problem for the big fellow. As Newcastle take their tap free, and it goes across through the 5/8 from the half, and it's with the number 12, Darren Tracy. Stewart gives a pat on the back there to Cox for making that contribution. Harrigan winds it up again. Just outside the 30-metre line, McCormack is there, and across for Andrew, and then his brother. They run across as a pair, and then O'Davis comes in. The third member of the mighty midgets. Very small, but very talented, the three of them. And now Muir. It's been a pretty busy week for them, Newcastle, and in particular it's been a busy time for their rep players. But they played on Sunday and they're backed up on Friday. That's not to make an excuse for them. Many clubs have to do that. But it's not easy to come here to Canberra, of all places. Now Ainsko comes in. He's found a passage. He's going for the line. He's shot. Referee ordering the turnover.
Isn't that a tragedy? Gee, deserved a try there. What a great run. He just got the footy and just went bang straight through them and really deserved to get over the try line. Look at him go. Look at the determination on his face. And he sees the defence there and tries to crash over, and he's a shandy off a try.
A great tackle from Jason Croker before his teammates came in to help. Pretty good hands from Andrew Johns too on the last tackle to put him away as Boyle takes it 18 out from his own line.
Ainsko spoken about very much as though he'll be joining Parramatta next year. Apparently an offer has been made. Oh! Ruben Wiki hits O'Davis across the chest.
Oh, thanks for coming.
Oh, a thickie from Wiki.
And here goes Nathan Barnes, slammed into the ground. Now Tracy. 20 metres out, centre of the ground. McCormack, who wants it? Look out, here they come again. Muir, away from Deeth, back for Tracy. Tracy gets over the 20-metre line, but there's that man again. Walters blocking down the centre. McCormack across the face of Joint. Matthew Johns works towards the centre, but then he's driven back again by Stevie Walters. The last. And the kick is on for Andrew Johns. He had to hurry it. There's a chance out there, but the ball beats the ball. Race for it between Noah and Ashley Gordon.
Well, Ruben Wickie's defence tonight has been first class. As I said earlier, he'll be in the test side, the starting lineup for New Zealand next Friday night.
Well, he's got to be, hasn't he, on this form, because the New Zealand backline, as we said, that was a little bit disappointing last week against Australia, and he would certainly add some starts to their side.
A bit surprised that Jason Williams was dropped from the squad. I thought that they'd have looked to keep him in his evasive running.
At least maybe even on the bench, because he can fill a few spots.
We'll have the telecast of that match exclusive across Australia, and we'll be also beaming it into New Zealand. Their satellite next Friday night. The Kiwis and the Kangaroos as Stewart sets it down under the breeze. And Davis coming back, ready to close the line. Last time he had his peepers wide open that time as Gordon comes away and tries to duck under them. It hasn't been a game for the Newcastle outside backs. It really hasn't been a game for Jamie Ainsko in particular. But when he has rolled his sleeves up and had a bit of opportunity, he again has reminded us that he's a class centre. And I was just saying that the papers are suggesting that he will go to Parramatta next year. Apparently they've just made him a massive offer. Now, Joint.
A few people know he's a Parramatta junior as well. The junior reps there. The last tackle now against the Knights to run it on the blind side. Johns. Billy Peden.
Kick ahead, but it's landed straight down into the arms of Croker, and then a good chase by Peden, who really motored across there to bring Croker down, and he's hanging on there in grim determination as Herman makes the tackle. Croker this is the replay, and this man Peden, he remained committed to the play. 25 out from the Canberra line. Well, the more this season rolls on, we're watching a demolishment here of Newcastle, and I wouldn't write Newcastle off even though beaten tonight. And here's a beautiful pass by Thurner for Daly. Daly's looking for Nagus, but Nagus was well back. He wasn't supporting the play, and they have to kick and find the line.
Great bust made by Daly, and away he went. Got some numbers here. They had 3 on 2 in the end, and Daly went straight through, and I know maybe he should have just pinned the ears back and had a go at O'Davis, but he saw the support looming, put the kick in, and nothing's come of it. But they will have Newcastle under all sorts of pressure on their own line. He's had a great game tonight, Loza.
Still believe that Kenny Nagus on the left wing was caught with his socks down. Here they go against the head. Wiki is pulled down 2 metres out by O'Davis and Herman. But Canberra looking for another try. Across they go for Daly to give on, and Boyle, his pass comes off the chest of Mandruku.
And that was try time. Against the feed, the scrum win. Straight away the defence under all sorts of trouble, and Canberra getting the play across to the right-hand side as quickly as possible. In fact, the Newcastle player has kicked the ball through to the Canberra back, so nothing going right. The inside pass here, nobody coming across would have been able to stop Nandruku there.
It reminds me that there's not too many good hookers in the game. I'm talking about the real hooker. He's no longer a part of the game, is he?
We discussed that on the footy show Thursday night, Ray, and I think that we put that to bed.
It's amazing how frail your arguments are from time to time, but that was a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Anyway, here's Harrigan now. Very good evening to Ken Carney and all those hookers that do agree with somebody. Who? Wash your mouth out if you said who. The director. Muir. Centre of the ground. 5 metres on his own side of halfway. Cross now for Davis to give out and Gordon to kick. And he's going to find the line and does. And so we're going to see another scrum go down. 22 metres or so away from the Canberra line.
Well, that's got to be the option for Newcastle at the end of every set of 6. They've got to look to run the football, which means their men have to get deeper. Ashley Gordon's very flat that time. The simple fact is they've got to run the football whenever possible. And if it breaks down, get a boot in at the end.
Canberra winning this scrum back on their own end of the park. Stewart across for Daly to give on. And, that is Boyle. I must tell you, and it's no use apologising. I do have trouble from time to time, and I guess most people do at a distance when you can't see their numbers. Croker and Boyle, they have a remarkable similarity. But I was making the point earlier, as Stewart knocks on, as you watch this demolition of Canberra over Newcastle, and Manly are all systems go. There are more and more people thinking that this grand final is coming down to these two clubs, and that's not to dismiss Newcastle or Brisbane. But if you wanted to back a grand final out now, you'd have to think that's what it's going to be, as Ainscough gets a pass off and Gordon channels back in, but he's wrapped up there by Laurie Daly. O'Davis down on the 30-metre line, and this is Ainscough once more getting a pass off, a handoff for Gordon. And again, Daly makes the tackle, so there's not a great deal of purpose in what Newcastle are doing now. And Joints gets it over the 20-metre line before he is wrapped up and put away by Jason Deeth, I believe it was. They come across now for Johns. The ball knocked down, I think, off the hand of Stewart. And it should have been 6 more if I read it correctly. This is Glanville looking to pop the pass inside. He'll play it inside the 20-metre line, and I think he's injured an ankle in doing so. This is Peden.
There's no doubt Ricky Stewart touched the football in coming through to put pressure on, but the last tackle now comes for the Knights, and Matthew Johns kicks for himself.
He does indeed do that, and it's over the dead ball line, so back for a line dropout off the hands of Jason Croker.
And Glanville's in a mile of trouble on the other side of the field. He's limping off the other side of the field right now.
That's where I called a nullification of the tackle count, but the referee, Eddie Ward, either didn't get a call from his touch judge and didn't see it himself. And Newcastle should have had 6 more tackles from that point in time. As it turns out, they've got the football back, and Billy Peden is put away just outside the 30-metre line. About 11 minutes of this game remaining now. Glanville has had to come off. Or has he? He's
still out there limping around, and they must be getting very close to not being able to make any more interchange players, the Knights. They go wide this time. Matthew Johns, the second man, pass to Paul Harrigan, but again, Wiki high and Ferner low, very effective in defence. We'll just find out what the situation is. Interchange players for the Knights at the moment.
Muir struggling to get it away. He did that. Joint was there to pick it up, and then keep frittering away opportunities. This is Nandruku handing it back for DeVico, and DeVico strides out, puts a fend on a couple of fairly feeble tackles.
Well, you saw Glanville limping in the background there. Tracy's got his wet weather gear off. There's mistakes all over the place. The game is heading downwards now, but Glanville's just struggling. You may as well have me out there. Off he comes down.
Well, Darren Tracy left the field 5 minutes ago as play breaks down there for the Raiders. He's back in the action pretty much straight away. Let's hope that no major problem for Mark Glanville. Of course, he's only been back from injury a matter of a couple of weeks. Was on the bench in Adelaide against St George. He was in the first run-on point last week as Newcastle win the scrum. Boy, bang.
See everything they do, Newcastle. Canberra just are there a mile of time in front of them. In attack, I thought you were supposed to be dictating the tune, and that pretty much is the way it is. But Canberra have just done their homework on Newcastle. And here's Harrigan now, striding out, trying to break through that wall, and then offloading. And Canberra comes away with it. Well, you can't blame Harrigan for trying something. And Druku puts on the power. Through Stewart, it goes out. Ruben Wiki is with it to the 30-metre line. Herman has got him. Wiki will play it now. 35 out from his own line. We're down inside the last 10 minutes. Stewart on for Ferner. Ferner stops, then tries to go through the gap, but Muir closes it. Ferner will play it back for Jason Deeth. Stewart gives it on. Daly is with it. Short ball. Try to promote. I think that's Cox out there. It is. Steve Walters now. Handoff for Jason Deeth. Deeth slithering away from tackles before Muir brings him to a halt. Canberra brewing up to what could be another try. Stewart's kick, and then he tries to kick again, and then Robbie Davis brings it back.
He's had a great game with the Stewards tonight, just controlled things beautifully. And Laurie Daly directing the side around the park, knowing exactly where to attack and when. It's been another learning experience for the Johns boys. They've tried hard and they've played well as Ainscough keeps the ball alive, showing some soccer skills here. Eventually picked up by Noah Nandruku, who's into open spaces, and only Davis and Joint to boot. No, he stops. Back.
Nandruku
like Vorton in the clear.
Did he look like he saw a red light or something?
No, I think he thought he was playing sevens football, and that's very much a pet Fijian play in that caper. Now Wiki. Well, actually, they'll run backwards and invite you to come and get them. Nagus through Stewart. Cox. Almost through. 15 out from the line. Canberra queued up on the left of the ground. It's with Stewart, shows it back on the right. Then Daly, down for Ferner. Ferner gives it away. Jason Deeth is there. The ball was deflected by Newcastle. And Wiki is pulled down. 6 more tackles. Eddie Ward has seen it. Steve Walters goes for it. And he's over the line. Another try for Canberra for mine. Eddie Ward gives it. Stevie Walters, he deserved that.
You just wouldn't believe a try could be scored there. There were so many bodies. Steve Walters, enormous strength, low centre of gravity, drives down low, straight through 2 Newcastle players, the ball on the line. No problems with the double movement there, just pure strength from the hooker.
Well, there's a queue here lining up to tackle him. Look at him, they're queuing up, but they just can't stop him. Good stuff there from Boxhead. Walters Another magnificent game from him around the rucks. He's guided them well. He's run when he had to. He's offloaded at will, and he's also come up with 25 tackles.
200th run-on game in first grade for Steve Wildens tonight. So it's quite an achievement, quite an anniversary. David Furner, who's got quite a personal tally in this game. I've almost lost count. I think he's kicked 6 goals and scored a try. 7 goals, 18 points for David Furner thus far. And the clock's showing there's 6.5 minutes still to go. Furner from 2 metres in, and he gets it away, but this time hooking it. So no addition to that scoreline, 35-4. Played pretty large on pick the score. Got that odd number in there, and Newcastle coming into the game with a 42-0 win over Canterbury last Sunday. Sunday, we bring you the telecast of Canterbury and Cronulla from Parramatta Stadium, Canterbury's home ground for now.
Cronulla go into that game, Ray, unbeaten away from home. They're 6-0.
It is a fact, though, Pete, they've only beaten the Bulldogs once in the last 6 outings. So I wonder, will the Bulldogs get it back on track? Incredible record for Cronulla, though, this year. Unbeaten away, but they have trouble winning at home. It's amazing the fluctuation and fortunes. Once upon a time, you just didn't want to go and play them at Caltech. Here's Robbie McCormick. He has slogged it out all night, Robbie. He's been everywhere, and so has his second row colleague, Adam Muir, but he's had a mistake-ridden game. It has just been very much all Canberra. Matthew Johns, 20 metres out. Is another premiership waiting for Canberra in 95. O'Davis runs onto it. Muir, he'll get it. No, it's touched the ground. So he pulled himself out of a double movement. Johns with a long pass. Herman inside. Barnes likewise. And now O'Davis. 2 metres out, tackle 5. Holding down the player as long as they can. Andrew Johns across field looking for Ashley Gordon. The ball comes down at the feet of Nandruku, and referee Eddie Ward is ruling a knock-on off the hands of Ashley Gordon, and the turnover there for Canberra being on the last tackle.
Well, tremendous scrambling here from the Canberra side. This is a beautiful pass run by Andrew Johns. O'Davis finding Muir, but again, this time Nagus and Croker combining. Only Nagus there, stopping the try. Canberra now 28 metres out from their own line. Ricky Stewart looking wide to see what's happening. Juggles the ball, keeps it alive to Fern, who's been outstanding tonight.
The final minutes ticking away, and Canberra enjoying this hugely, 35-4. Last tackle with the Raiders now. And they clear and find the line, so everything's on cue.
Laurie Daly's been great again tonight. The thing I like about Daly is his involvement. He was involved in the first 4 or 5 tackles of this game. The last thing that the coach says to you when you run onto the field or about to run on is get involved early, get a touch of the football, get a tackle up. And that's what Daly does.
The final scrums of the match. 30 metres away from the Newcastle line. All the way in the background, you can see the wind getting into that covering. They've lost it again, Newcastle. And now Ricky provides. Nagus sets his compass for the corner that he's pulled down by Herman. They'll go back. Every member of the team is out there ready to do something with it. Croker.
Great work from Nagus there, stopping his teammate being taken into touch. Now Stewart slots into first receiver and looks wide. Great pick-up from Daly.
Look at the hands of Stewart and Daly, even in conditions like these. 18 out, centre of the ground. That's Jason Deathan, the 26 jumper. Stewart turns it back in. And, is that
Steve Stone on
Steve Stone in jumper number 20? Death again. Dummy out to the left, and Daly it was who promoted. It's with Nandruku, and Nandruku was held there by Ainscough and by Ashley Gordon. The last tackle, Ward's hand in the air. Back now for Stewart to kick high and across, but it's gone back at least 10 metres. Flicked out by Ferner, given away. Don't tell me they're going to make it out of this. Nagus, he flops the ball down, and Croker scores an amazing try. His second of the game. We'll talk about going backwards to go forwards. That's exactly what they've done.
Oh, yeah, great way to finish the match for the Raiders there. Stewart puts it up. Look at all the Raiders there. It was Juster, and it came backwards. And Ferner did well to flick one out. And from here, there's what, 3-on-1. There's cover coming over, but it's a good ball. And they just kept backing up on the inside. And don't tell me, I'll tell you, Rabs, they got over okay.
Yeah, there should have been enough players there from Newcastle to stop that try. Great work from David Ferner, flicking the ball out under attention. Here's Croker going to the line. A lot of cover defence coming across as though it had wrapped up Nagus, but they didn't stop the football. Croker back inside Robbie O'Davis to dive through. Cap off a fine match for him and his side.
Well, tonight, probably the best example of their fortunes was exhibited there by that kick from Stewart. Let's go in with David Ferner now, and he's offline again, but he's had a wonderful game, and he's had a large contribution in points, something like 18 for the game, 39-4. And here it is again. Look at Ferner flicking it out the back, keeping it alive. This was after Stewart's kick was probably more of the ill-directed kind. He didn't really mean it to go where it did, but they still scored a try. And that is a perfect example of the way this night has unfolded and now been completed by Canberra. 39-4. Eddie Ward has called time. We'll have the man of the match with Blocker in just a moment. Then Peter and Paul will wrap it up from Bruce Stadium. Don't go away. Here's a break. We're back.
Sunday night at the movies.
I think she's the one.
The government gave her a choice.
What's it to be, yes or no?
Death or life.
He mentioned the word bullet and he mentioned the word brain.
As the assassin.
I'm scared. That'll be the day.
Once she took their deal.
In a minute.
She was past the point of no return. Bridget Fonda.
Did something really bad.
Harvey Keitel.
I'm through.
There is no out.
The Assassin. Premieres Sunday, 8:30 on Win Television.
Call me old-fashioned, but there's nothing I like better than a bowl of traditional hearty stew. So I'm really excited about these two new hearty stews from Chum, full of beef or chicken with vegetables, and the chumpy goodness I've come to expect from Chum. Your wee doggy will love the variety, and you'll appreciate the good old-fashioned savings. Oh, talking about savings, I forgot to save some for the clan. New Chum hearty stew.
Keep on running, keep on hiding. One fine day I'm gonna be the one to make.
People who own Daihatsu charades say one thing. They keep on running. Time after time after time.
We all try to ignore a chip in our windscreen. It doesn't help it go away, though. And it could end up costing you a whole new windscreen. But if you act quickly and call Windscreens O'Brien, we'll check it's safe to repair, according to the Australian standard, then fix it permanently. So well you'll have trouble seeing where it was, all without replacing your windscreen. And that could save you a lot of money. Call Windscreens O'Brien now for any car, any glass, anywhere.
fashion. Canberra rubber stamps bring it to attention. CRS. I want to engrave it, I want to stamp it, I want a sign to tell the whole wide world we've got it labeled. We're ready and able. Big stamps, bright signs, plaques, badges, any kind. Make a good impression. Canberra rubber stamps.
Australia imports workwear, which costs a lot of dough, but every time we import, Aussie jobs have got to go. It's time for some straight talking to call a spade a spade. There's lots of workwear labels, but can't tear 'em's all Australian made.
We got Lily on the needle, Artie's cutting out, Shirley's checking quality, and there isn't any doubt we're all working for Australia with a can't tear 'em out, making great Australian workwear.
And doing a bloody good job. Can't tear 'em.
Last week it was the Newcastle Knights who cracked the 40 barrier. This week the Canberra Raiders have racked up a heap of points against the Knights to take out this game at Bruce Stadium. 39 points to 4. Tremendous performance from the reigning premiers. 6 tries in all. Croker getting 2. Mullins, Ferner, Wesley and Walters. Ricky Stewart kicked an early field goal while David Ferner kicked 7 from 10. And the sole try scorer for the Knights, Nathan Barnes. Andrew Johns missing his only kick at goal. A great performance in very difficult conditions here in the national capital. And the man we've chosen as the man of the match tonight is now with Steve Roach.
And an outstanding performance from the Raiders, our Ansett man of the match. $1,000. David Ferner getting pretty used to this, mate, picking up the check.
Comes handy, mate, comes in handy.
Outstanding performance from the Raiders. Really good first half and then finished it off, just rolled on.
Yeah, I think the first half we concentrated a lot on our defence. And then the second half we had the lead and we just, the coach said to us we had to go out and do the same sort of defence if we wanted to win the game, take it home.
Yeah, Dave, the return of Ruben Wiki out wide and Brad Clyde must be a big boost for the side.
Oh, definitely. I mean, Clyde is just such a class act. And Ruben, his defence, that out wide there, just stopped their backs, coming forward.
I'll let you get in out of the cold, mate, because I want to get out.
Thanks, Mike, and I'd like to thank Ansett too.
Good on you, mate.
Cheers.
He did it all tonight, David Ferner. 18-point haul, also topped the tackle count and 13 hit-ups. Footy tab tonight, big dividend here for that pick the scoreline. 39 points to 4, $18,891.75. And this Sunday, the cameras go out to the Parramatta Stadium, a home game for the Sydney Bulldogs up against the Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. That's at 6:30 p.m. But tonight, the Canberra Raiders join Manly Warringah on top of the competition table for at least 24 hours. On behalf of the entire Wide World of Sports Rugby League team, we wish you a very good night.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.
Friday Night Football, brought to you by Mitsubishi, Carlton United Breweries and the RTA.
7:30 Tuesday, it's the home video show semi-final.
Meg, what's for dinner?
The best of the best with your favourites this year. Followed by more hidden camera madness on Just Kidding. Tuesday from 7:30 on Win.
From National 9 News, this is Nightline with Gina Boone.
Good evening and welcome to a shorter Nightline because of our tennis coverage. Australia's worst ever trade deficit has put pressure back on interest rates, with the Australian dollar tumbling to a 14-month low of 70.90 US cents.
The financial markets were stunned by the figure, a record $2.9 billion deficit.
Don't show any bids.
The Aussie dollar plunged as dealers braced themselves for worse to come.
We expect offshore people, the United States market in particular, to take a very dim and unsatisfactory view of Australia's trade number today.
It is an appalling figure.
This Prime Minister should be in here today. Why isn't he in here? Why isn't he apologising to the Australian people?
The best the government could do was say it should get better.
That the outlook for the balance of payments is for improvement.
That may be, but today's trade result has wiped out any hope of a cut in interest rates.
Either the economy slows or the interest rates will have to go up to make it slow.
That's devastating news for a government preparing for an election.